Hey everyone, so here we are people, the final chapter, and before I get into what I thought about the individual pieces of this chapter, I want to give my overall thoughts and impressions on the series and the ending as a whole, which right out of the gate, the ending I liked it. I really I think it was an appropriate way to kind of end this series. Granted, with one caveat, but I'll get into that. But as a whole, I did like the ending. I thought, and now as far as where I think this ending ranks compared to Mashima's other endings, as I said before, I think it lands smack dab in the middle between Fairy Tail and Rave Master. Like Rave Master, I know people think nowadays Rave Master is probably overrated when it comes to a lot of Mashima's series, but Rave Master to me is still kind of the gold standard of Mashima's writing, and Eden Zero kind of lands somewhere in between that and Fairy Tail. I do like Eden Zero's ending a little bit more than Fairy Tales because I feel like Eden Zero's has a little bit more of an emotional core to it, whereas Fairy Tales it was fine for what it was, but it was kind of we know it's not necessarily the end either with 100 years quest and all that kind of thing. Um, with with that said, I but with that said, yeah, the series. One thing I will say right out of the gate that I liked about this final chapter is how it kind of has a bit of a sort of parallel effect to how the series began. Like how the series began, obviously, it was all about how you see how how Rebecca had arrived on Eden Zero, or arrived on Granville, and all the machines wanted to drive Shiki away because they didn't want him to be alone. And now here we are at the end where Shiki has been on a journey. He's made so many friends, companions, and appropriately the series ends with him being a father. I really I really like that angle, and I especially the angle I especially really like is how you see pretty much, even though it's a little tacky, it's a little sort of like it's a little corny. I do like the idea of seeing how, yes, he now is kind of helping. He now has the skills and the abilities in order to actually help maintain the robots in order to make sure that they're pretty much that they can remain alive, all that kind of thing. I do like I do like that ability of how, like, showing that Shiki now has showing Shiki as kind of this mechanic now, and how he has the ability in order to fix machines rather than being unable to fix them like he was before. Again, a nice little bit of. And now, with that said, obviously we do need to talk about one again, that caveat I was talking about with this ending, which is Pino, which is at the moment of of Rebecca and of the birth of Sheik and Rebecca's daughter. You at the same moment, Mother essentially, like, gives Pino new life. She brings Pino back. She brings Pino back, and as a robot. Now, this is where I'm a little bit torn, because on one hand, I would have liked for Pino to remain dead, frankly, but, and this is the big but, if you're going to bring Pino back, I'm kind of glad Pino was brought back as an in her android form, and not given a human body, because again, I think a big part of Pino's journey has always been about, like, the idea of her about her, even though she's a machine, she's become more and more human throughout the series. So in that regard, it's the sort of thing where I would have liked her to remain dead, but if you're gonna bring her back, then bring her back as an android. Probably the best idea. It's one of those things where I'm not a big I wasn't a big fan of bringing her back, but if you're gonna bring her, the way Mashima did bring her back, I appreciate. It's one of those weird things, and yeah, it's just kind of it's really nice to just kind of see all these people we've come to know, all these people we've come to like become in order to become like we've become attached to, just kind of just settling down within their own lives, like just living, like even though they're still friends, they're comrades, they're still they've sort of went their own separate ways and living their own lives, like as we see in this chapter, like both Hermit and Weiss have resettled on Norma, and kind of seeing again with that, and seeing that Weiss has kind of made amends, sort of like really like sort of made amends, and kind of and really kind of reconnected with Sabir. I do like that fact. And even more so, we also see on Planet Oedo how Homura has like Homura connecting both with her adopted mother in Valkyrie, but also reconnecting with her own mother in reconnecting with her own mother as well in Kurenai. And it's again for whatever bad blood I still might have about Kurenai, I do appreciate how there is kind of this is kind of this thing with this final chapter of reconnecting with those reconnecting with those people who you have bad blood with, but you at least try. You try to remake those. You try to remake those connections. You try to reforge those connections into something new. I think that's kind of what my biggest takeaway was from this chapter, is that it was a good. It was all about the connections that we've made, and just and reforging those connections into something new. I think, in a way, even the ones we dislike the most, and yeah, just and I do appreciate how this is a chapter that kind of appreciates those connections, I think, more than anything else. But yeah, and yeah, outside of that though, yeah, like it does. Outside of that, I I definitely like Pino's little moment near the end, where after the baby's born, she comes in saying, "Hey, you have to get my approval in order to use my name." Like again, it's a nice little moment with Pino that shows, yeah, she pretty much has become she has become her own person, not just like an android kind of thing. Yeah, but yeah, guys, that's honestly, yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, and I definitely like Pino's like little monologue at the end, where she says, "It doesn't matter if you're human or a machine, not to my master, like, or to any my friends on the Eden Zero." Like again, it's one of those things that reinforces that Pino has become, whether she's a human or an android, she has become human. Again, I know I kind of repeat myself, yeah, but yeah, as a whole, again, I really did like this ending. It was very I think it was probably the most appropriate way to kind of end a series like this. Like it is a thing. It's kind of goes off something I think Mashima. I kind of knew Mashima. I think eventually kind of was going to go with, which is to say that Mashima, I think, with this series has always gone with the idea of putting of it's a very traditional storytelling technique of you can absolutely put your characters through hell as long as there's a happy ending for them, but by the end of it all. And this kind of fits into that moniker for me of like, these characters have been through hell. They've been put through the ringer over and time again. They've experienced one hardship after another. So to see them kind of finally living a happy life, getting their happy ending, it does work in my opinion. Again, the thing with Pino, it's a little up in the air for me, but overall, I still fine with it. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll, and just tell me in the comments section what you thought. Because again, as a final chapter, for me, I like it more than Fairy Tail, but less than Rave Master, and I don't know, and yeah, as far as what's next, I'm gonna try and get caught up with try and get caught up with what's that name again? What's the name of his other series again? Uh, it's fuck. Dead Rock. I'm gonna try and get caught up with Dead Rock next, and then do. I'm gonna do like a catch up review on that, and then just do singular probably chapters from there. But yeah, guys, that's again. Just go ahead and tell me what you guys think. Did you like this ending? Did you dislike it? Just go free. Go ham in the comments section. But yeah, guys, that's all I got. Later.